This brings me to another question. As you know, Jann and I were just at a writers' conference, and at that conference, and frequently when writers get together, there's a lot of discussion about technique. And there are some writers who outline, they maybe do a synopsis of the book, and then they outline every chapter, and then they sit down and very efficiently write the book. And then there are writers who kind of just play it by ear and waste a lot of time, but defend their, what would you say, inefficient way of writing by saying that it makes it more fun for them because they're learning the story as they're writing it. So which school do you come down on, and how would you defend yourself?
You know, Anne, I fall somewhere in the middle because I do have a loose outline. I have an idea and I have a loose outline, but I don't follow it religiously. And I think that's really the fun. You know, the characters develop, and sometimes they go in a different direction than I had planned for it to. And you know, it's always better. So I wonder sometimes when I'm really in the flow, who's writing this? You know, where's this coming from? So it's magical. I think writing is magical. I think all artists know this, all art is magical.
So when you start a book, do you know how it's going to end?
Yes, I do. I'm stuck to that. I do. I don't know exactly how I'm going to tie up all of the loose ends, but I do know how it's going to end. I just have to get it there.
You mentioned earlier that writing has been kind of a spiritual path for you. You want to elaborate on that a little more?
I would. You know, it is a spiritual path for me. It requires some of the same things as any spiritual path does. It requires diligence. It requires perseverance. It requires faith. Faith in what you're doing has some meaning and value, and you have to be true to it. You have to be true to it, like any spiritual path. The main thing, though, I think, one thing I really think is true is that it humbles writers. I said this once at a writers' conference, and some woman stood up and she said, "You don't look very humble to me. You know, look at all you've accomplished." And I said, "Well, you know, it's been kind of a long road." I just thought of something that Erica Jong said. I saw her when she wrote A Fear of Flying. We remember this, right? Okay, I was at a book signing, and that's a whole other story with her. But she said something that stuck with me, and I memorized it. Oh dear, I hope I memorized it. I hope it's still there. Let me see. She said, "Fame is a powerful instrument of grace because it humbles its chosen victims in a hurry. You sail into it, your canvas filled with grandiosity. And then when your 15 minutes are over and you are becalmed, you realize that grandiosity can't take you where you need to go. And that's when you start rowing like hell and praying for the strength to stay afloat."